What's going on, everyone? This is Julian. I hope y'all are doing well and welcome to today's video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some battles here in the Open Great League. We are back in the Great League rotation as of this past Friday, and we are going to be taking a look at what I believe to be a very powerful team. This is actually a team that's featured by Yonkis, fellow content creator. So if you guys wanted to give his channel a follow and like, please feel free to do so as well. And this team consists of Charjabug in the lead, and then Azumarill as the safe swap, and then Annihilape in the back. So I believe that all three of these Pokemon have play into the current meta. Of course, we already know Annihilape is really solid. It's one of the best fighters right now. And then Charjabug can deal with most of the new water types that have been coming up as of late. Feraligatr, and then also Lantern to some extent. Just really has to be careful of things like Whiscash, and then Gligar, and things like that. So and an Azumarill, I believe, is a very underrated Pokemon to use right now. Just a lot of... it's pretty good against a lot of the water types. Not too bad against Feraligatr. And then also pretty good against a lot of the fighters that we will continue to see as well. So this is a team, and I was able to get a 5-0 in this specific set. So again, looking at the movesets right here, we have the standard Volt Switch, Discharge, and X-Scissor here on the Charjabug. You can opt to run Crunch, but I believe the Discharge and X-Scissor is still the way to go. And then for Azumarill, I am running Ice Beam and Play Rough just to give the most coverage. There is a case to be made for Hydro Pump in some matchups, but I believe that this is in general, the best moveset you can have for Azumarill at the moment. Annihilape, of course, I'm running it with Night Slash and Shadow Ball. Definitely a case to be made to run Ice Punch instead of Night Slash, but I believe Night Slash is overall better for this specific team comp, just because you already have that coverage of Ice Beam with the Azumarill here. So that is going to be the team. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get to the commentary here of the rest of this battle. So I was faced with a Gliscor in the lead. So Gliscor is actually a big core breaker, same thing with Gligar. If you do end up facing a Gligar on the lead, or on the, I think especially on the lead, it will actually be very problematic here for this team. So keep that in mind if you do decide to use this team. Gligar will give you some trouble. The best play to do it is to just soft lose the lead, and then, from there, try to work your way out of the potential situations. So that's how you play a Gligar or Gliscor lead if you ever come across that. But in any case, though, we do have the Azumarill going up against a non-Shadow Feraligatr. So you actually do want to be running the Shadow Feraligatr in this current meta, just because, again, it hits harder and will really deal a lot more damage, especially with the Shadow Claws for the most part. And you are going to be, that definitely helps to have the added shadow bonus here in this case. So I'm going to be go ahead and take care of this Feraligatr here with the Azumarill. So that's also a great thing about Azumarill, is that it does resist all of Feraligatr's moves, as you can see here. And in this case, it is running Hydro Cannon and Crunch. That is going to be the first battle, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into the next battle here. We have Charjabug up against a Lantern. So this is where we want to see Lantern in this team. Annihilape can also deal with a Lantern perfectly fine, so I am going to stay here to start. They do try to catch a move onto the Trevenant, and unfortunately for me, I also do not have a great response to a Trevenant here in this team. So I do have to stay in here to start this match and see what my opponent wants to do. I am going to go ahead and start firing off X-Scissors. I do want to force a shield here. Definitely winning switch advantage is important at this stage right now, since I know that the Trevenant is here and it does core break my backline as well. So I do need to stay in here, and I need to fire off this. I need to start forcing the last shield here from the Trevenant, and I do go for the Shadow Ball, which is great for me. I'm going to fire off one more Volt Switch, and then go ahead and fire off an X-Scissor of my own. So this will either force the last shield or KO the Trevenant, so they let it go. And this is perfect. So now I can go ahead and continue to align my Charjabug into the Lantern that just came back in. So this is great. I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Surf X-Scissor here just as they fire off their Surf, and basically on a couple HP left here, this is going to do some nice damage against the Lantern, and the Lantern's able to spark me down, but now I can safely come in with Annihilape here, definitely start getting ahead on energy, and again, we'll want to see what the opponent is going to do. I can take any one move here, so I'm going to let this go and see what my opponent has in the back. So they do go for the Surf, which is okay. I'm going to go ahead and overfarm here just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Night Slash. So at this range, the Night Slash should be enough to KO this Annihilape. And the Night Slash does actually get a shield, which is great. I am going to go ahead and commit the shield myself here. I don't know what my opponent has in the back, so I am going to want to preserve my Annihilape just in case it has a good matchup against whatever is in the back. So it ends up actually being a Skarmory, which is okay here. I'm going to go ahead and now pivot into my Azumarill. This is where the Azumarill is going to be here in this matchup. Now the Skarmory is going to go ahead and fire off a move. It's most likely going to be a Sky Attack here for some nice chip damage. I'm going to overfarm just a little bit here, and I'm going to fire off the Ice Beam. This is probably where having Hydro Pump would be okay, but Ice Beam is perfectly fine in this situation as well. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Ice Beam. It does some pretty nice damage here up against this Skarm. So I am going to go ahead and fire off another Ice Beam here. They are not able to get to a move. I do have to undercharge it though, because I do want to give my Annihilape some farm. And this is perfect, so I am now going to go ahead and let this move go. And my opponent also decides to undercharge the Sky Attack, I believe. So luckily for me, I am going to be able to get a couple of counters here. But then the opponent does pivot back into the Annihilape, so this is actually fine. I do need to throw the Night Slash right away, just in case the Lantern was close to a move, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and now counter down the Skarmory as well. So good game, well played to my opponent. Hopping into the next battle, we have Charjabug up against a Zweilous. So this isn't the best of leads here. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Azumarill. The Charjabug can actually deal with Zweilous with the X-Scissors, but the only problem is that the Volt Switch is resisted. And I am going to go ahead and stay in this matchup here because the Zweilous cannot do anything against the Azumarill. So this is perfectly fine. They do go for a Dark Pulse, which doesn't do a lot of damage here. I'm going to go ahead and overfarm just a little bit, and I'm going to fire off the Play Rough here. So Play Rough, of course, is double super effective here up against the Zweilous, and they are going to shield, which is pretty surprising. So this tells me that there's something in the back that does not necessarily also want to see the Azumarill. So this is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and again let this move go. So they're going to go for a Body Slam this time, and I'm going to go ahead and overfarm a little bit, and they try to catch a move onto a Swampert. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and now fire off an Ice Beam, but I also know that my Annihilape also has a great matchup against the Zweilous, so I'm perfectly fine with letting the Azumarill go at this point. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and now let this move go. The Azumarill has done its job, so there's again no sense in saving the shield for the Azumarill. And now I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Annihilape. I'm going to start getting head on energy here. And I am going to commit one shield and then counter down this Swampert. So I do want to have enough residual energy against whatever the opponent has in the back. So I do have a Night Slash Paint, and I want to see what my opponent has in their back. So my opponent is going to be bringing in a Feraligatr. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Night Slash Bait here. I am definitely expecting my opponent to shield. If not, that's perfectly fine too. And they don't shield, which is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and aggressively pivot back into the Charjabug. And now at this point, I can definitely overfarm a little bit and fire off an X-Scissor. So my Annihilape is basically the win condition at this point. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the Charjabug. And I am barely just able to make it to 2 X-Scissors here against the Zweilous. So if they do shield the first one, I do have another one locked and loaded and ready to go. So they realize that and they let this move go. And I am going to be able to barely make it to a Discharge here up against the Feraligatr. I could have thrown an X-Scissor too, but that's perfectly fine. But I just want to force the last shield from the Feraligatr. And at this point, the Annihilape is basically the win condition here. So I do lose the CMP tie, but luckily for me, I still have a shield. and I'm going to be shielding this Hydro Cannon, and then from this range, a Night Flash will definitely be more than enough to KO the Feraligatr from this range. So that's going to be a great game, very well played to my opponent. Definitely good situational awareness for my opponent, but I had extra shield, so that was beneficial for me. Hopping into the next battle here, we have Charjabug in the lead up against a Golbat. So this is a great Pokemon for me to see in the lead. And now my opponent isn't swapping out here, so this is also telling me that there's something in the back that does not want to see this Charjabug. So I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. It's only a Poison Fang. It won't do too much damage to start, but I will need to potentially start shielding the next move from the Golbat. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Discharge here of my own, and then I'm going to let this, and then they're going to throw another move here, and there's going to be another Poison Fang, so I am going to shield this one, and they actually throw on Alignment, which is great for me. They let an entire Volt Switch sneak through, so at this point I can safely shield, and then the next Volt Switch here will be KOing the Golbat. So I'm going to go ahead and aggressively pivot into the Azumarill and see what they have, and they have a Machamp. So this is actually good. This is what I needed to bait out, and they do have a Drapion, which isn't the greatest for me here. If they have Sludge Bomb, then this is definitely going to be KOing the, or close to KOing the Azumarill. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go, and they do have Sludge Bomb, so this is actually fine. I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Play Rough right here. This is going to be doing some very nice damage here up against the Drapion, or a Shield. And this does get the Drapion into the red, which is fine. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and sack my Charjabug. And I have forced another throw, and this was a CMP tie, so this is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this go, and then leave it up to Annihilape. And of course, if the Machamp doesn't have payback, then there's really nothing that the Machamp can do against the Annihilape. So this is basically a good game, very well played. And there's no reason for me to shield here. They didn't build up to a payback here. This is only a cross chop. So I'm perfectly fine letting this go. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw a couple more counters and then throw a Night Slash here just to see what my opponent wants to do. But at this point, they're definitely going to be shielding here. They do shield, and then I do get the boost, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and counter down the Machamp from here. And that's going to be a great game. Well played to my opponent. Hopping into the last battle here, we have Charjabug against a Alolan Raichu. So this is definitely very interesting. Don't really see Alolan Raichu too much nowadays. And this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and build up to a X-Scissor here, and I do throw it right away just to see what my opponent wants to do. And they're definitely going to be shielding this move. So that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this move go through. I do lose the charge attack priority, and in this case, they are going to be firing off a Thunder Punch. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. I won't do a lot, and I'm going to be going ahead and throw the next X-Scissor right here. I definitely want to be forcing shields from this Raichu, and they do give me both their shields, so this is perfectly fine. And I actually realize I do need to start shielding now unless they try to catch a move, and they do actually catch the move on their Alolan Marowak, so this is not great. But I have a pretty good response here with my Azumarill, so I'm going to go ahead and pivot into my Azumarill. Even though I don't have Hydro Pump here, this is still perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and tank these Shadow Bones, no problem, and I'm just going to go ahead and again let this move go. Also because the Fire Spins aren't really doing a lot of damage here to the Azumarill. So I'm going to go ahead and throw one more bubble here, and then throw the Play Rough. And this is going to be getting the Marowak into the red. And at this point, I could just commit to the bubble down here. I can again tank the next Shadow Bone, so this is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. So I'm going to go ahead and just farm down this Marowak from here, and get the move against whatever is in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this move, and it is a Play Rough, and I'm going to be throwing it against a Alolan Ninetales. So this is actually going to get a little bit tricky. They do have a Charmeleon Ninetales too, so that's actually not what I was expecting. So my Annihilape will definitely have some trouble here, but I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Charjabug here and see what my opponent wants to do. I'm going to go ahead and commit to the X-Scissor here. I also do want to get some energy on the Annihilape as well, so that's why I decided to throw the X-Scissor as opposed to the Discharge. So this is perfectly fine. I am going to be committing a shield here against the Ninetales. They definitely will be firing off a Weather Ball, and then the Raichu actually does have a move as well. So again, I'm going to go ahead and I decide to actually shield this first one, and then they fire off another one right away. So this is fine. If it's a Thunder Punch, I can tank it no problem. But they actually end up throwing a Grass Knot here, which was very surprising. So that actually does a lot more damage than I was expecting. So I need to be careful here now of how I manage my energy. So I decide to throw a couple counters and then go ahead and fire off the Night Slash here. And from this range, the Night Slash will definitely be taking out the Alolan Raichu. So I just need to now counter down the Ninetales, which luckily for me already had no health. So that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. So those were the battles. I definitely recommend this team. This is a very solid one. So if you guys are looking to start climbing, getting some elo, well, I guess elo, but yeah, definitely recommend this team. If you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to give this video a like and thumbs up. Any support will really help the channel grow. And also, if you guys want to stay up to date with any of the upcoming videos that I have in the future, please hit that notification bell so you'll stay up to date with whatever I have coming up next. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.